Welcome back. Americans are taking their own lives at alarming rates. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us now to explain what researchers are saying about those suicide rates.
Suicide rates have increased by 25% in the U.S. over the last 2 decades, according to the CDC. And more than half of those who committed suicide had not been diagnosed with a mental health condition. When it's a household name like Anthony Bourdain or Kate Spade, it shocks us to the core. From afar, it seemed like they had it all: fame, money, admiration. But in reality, it doesn't matter if you're famous or not. Many people are living lives of quiet desperation.
I've lost personally, I've lost several friends. My friends have lost friends. There's not a day that goes by on my Facebook page where I see another one took his or her life.
Stephen Garcia spent 5 years in the Marine Corps and served 1 tour in Iraq. He says he never had those thoughts of taking his own life, but has lost so many loved ones to suicide.
Veterans, a lot of the time, don't know who to go to or don't know where to turn.
Because of that, Garcia has become a veteran advocate, trying to help veterans settle back into day-to-day activity after serving overseas.
They don't know how to adapt. They don't know how to cope because you're so used to being independent, mentally strong and needed and wanted, and then when you get out, it's like all that sweat from under you.
Florida's suicide rate is higher than the national average, according to the CDC, up 24% in the last 10 years alone. It's one of the leading causes of death in the state. Erica Barker, Director of Administration for Coastal Behavioral Health Care, may know why.
Access to mental health treatment it's probably one of the worst here in the state of Florida, if not the worst. So access to mental health treatment is an issue.
The other issue is the stigma that surrounds suicide. People will struggle with their depression and anxiety alone because they're embarrassed or afraid to tell anyone.
So for example, somebody says, I have cancer, and they will have no problem telling their employer, I'm gonna go see an oncologist. However, when they're depressed and feeling really, really sad and can't get out of bed, will they tell their employer, I'm going to go see a psychiatrist?
At Sarasota Memorial Hospital's Bayside Center for Behavioral Health, Executive Director Terry Cassidy has experienced the uptick in suicides in the last 2 decades.
Not sure why. There's a lot of anecdotal reasons. The research really hasn't been very concrete about what that is. There's been speculations that more stress, more people separated from family, more isolation.
She says it may just be that there's more research done on the issue now.
When someone kills themselves or commits suicide, they're not going to put that in the obituary. There's so much shame and stigma attached to it. So I feel like maybe there's more reporting happening in the last, 10 or 20 years.
According to a study done by the CDC, the most common method of suicide was by gun.
There's a high prevalence around that. I believe it's over 75% of the completed suicide with white men were a result of a gunshot wound. With women, it's more often medication, asphyxiation.
Veteran Stephen Garcia doesn't think weapons have anything to do with the growing suicide rate.
It's a mental issue. It doesn't matter if it's a gun or pills or whatnot, jumping off a bridge. It's just an unfortunate situation that that I wish I could go out and just hold their hand and say, hey man, come with me.
But what professionals say it all comes down to is mental illness.
20 to 25% of the population has a mental illness, but we won't talk about it.
If you think someone you love is thinking about suicide,
and if you're really concerned that somebody's in emotional distress, saying, are you thinking about killing yourself? A lot of people feel very uncomfortable with that concept. They think, okay, I'm planting the seed, I'm giving them the idea, I'm giving them permission, when actually research demonstrates you're reducing the risk by coming across in a non-judgmental manner and letting them know you're a person they can talk to.
And if you yourself are having suicidal thoughts,
you do not have to do this alone. You shouldn't have to do this alone. And you should seek the proper treatment for that, just like anyone else who has a disease.
If you're feeling extreme distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That number is on the bottom of your screen. We also have a list of local resources on our website, mysuncoast.com. Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Jess, thank you.